Howdy all, Chris from Props3D and Blamcon.
And I'm Mike from Props3D and Blamcon.
That's right, Mike is finally nailed down for a video. This is because it is a glorious day. Mike and I have just spent the last, 5 hours? This is
yes,
your
let's
first
call
one?
it 5.
Let's call it 5. 5 hours building 2 Blamcon Vipers using the final 3D models, the final parts kits, the final manuals, the final electronics. Everything is finally
final.
Word of the day, man.
Yeah.
So this is actually sort of a momentous occasion for a number of reasons. The first is this marks the start of sort of our new endeavor, not just in terms of Blamcon, but also in terms of Props3D content. As you can see from Mike, the team is expanding. Mike and I have actually worked together for years on
several years, yeah. Different projects here and there, yeah.
But not necessarily on Props3D per se.
No.
Yeah, Props3D actually started out as me, and then it was me and Craig, with Craig doing all the code for the amazing models like the Lawgiver. And Paul came on board, Beaks. He did the machining for the Lawgiver, and he also did the PCBs for Blamcon. But in the background, if you have noticed, literally in the background, all the beautiful, glorious paint jobs that I haven't not taken credit for them.
Well, everything looks good, so.
Well, I guess, yeah, that's mine,
You
but
got quite a lot of good stuff.
That's yours. Actually, do you want to
impressive build? Yeah.
Do you want to swap out your Viper with one you actually painted?
We've got a painted little jobby here.
That's what Mike does. Mike is a professional maker.
Yes, I have a prop shop in Langley, BC, and we're building for all kinds of different things, and just did a couple movies recently, so that's fun. Chris was big on that, so we'll have news about that later on. But yeah, we'll talk about how you can take basically, our skinned guns like this and then create something like that. So we'll have time to show you.
That is because we are going to start a new video series, Painting with Mike. If you can't beat him, get him to do it. Yeah. Exactly. So, though I do have to say on the models, the one thing I love about this, and this particular model, one of the reasons I've spent so much time on it is perfecting a method. This model was straight off the printer. 3 parts had support material.
Yeah, this came off really nice. It's nice and crisp. This has had no prep on it. This is basically you taking it right off the bed, building it, and you're good to go.
Yeah, no sanding, no cutting, no drilling.
No drilling, which is big. We're used to.
It's literally put the screws in, put the electronics in. It was an absolutely phenomenal amount of work to develop a system for this. Mm-hmm. And
reduce the amount of screws.
Well, that was the last minute. I overcomplicated it quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in terms of system, by the way, I do want to show you how we will be presenting models for Props3D and Blamcon for now on. That's been part of this little endeavor. Going to jump over to a little clip. So let me head on over here to blamcon.com and show you what we got cooking. First thing I'd like to show you is how we're going to be presenting projects from now on. So using, again, the Blamcon Viper as our template for everything. I'm going to go to the Viper page. So I haven't written the model overview yet, and the store is not open, but the rest of it's all in. First off, I love this thing. This is the 3D model overview. I can actually full screen this. And this is the full Blamcon Viper rendered in 3D in your browser. Now, if I want to see what parts go into it or where those parts are, I can simply open it up. This is all the 3D parts. If I just click on it, it just takes me right there. Where does the stock go? There's the stock. Other super cool thing, let me just select screws. This is every screw that goes into the Viper and exactly where in the model it is located. Then I can further break it down and go inside. Let's see the pan head screws. Let's see the grub screws. I got to pan across and there's the grub screws. This model is one version out of date, by the way. There's less scrub screws now. I'll have explanation of that in the video. But other cool thing, components. Boom, there's every component. If you're going to ask where I got all of these models from, I painstakingly modeled every turn on every spring and every button and every stupid little component that goes into this. I figured all of these are reusable and I can move them across models. So it was worth the pain and suffering in the beginning to save you pain and suffering figuring out where everything goes. So that is the 3D model browser. Now, wiring. People are always asking what wire goes where. Well, boom, for every Blamcon or Props3D model that is going to have wires on it, there will be a 3D rendering of where every single wire goes. This color guide will exactly match the video as well. So this also is a version out of date here. It's a bit of a work in progress. You see one of the RGB wires is missing. This again was an incredible amount of work. I will update this prior to release with the correct wire colors for the couple that I have changed, but essentially this is it. This is all of the parts that go into it. This is exactly what the core looks like. This is exactly what the rumble motor looks like, et cetera, and which wires go where. So can't ask for easier than that. And thirdly, this is a thing we prototyped actually on the Fallout 4 laser pistol, because people are always asking about manuals for these. Manuals are not easy. This took a lot of iterations to figure out how to make this mildly scalable. I can double click on it to get a full screen view of this as well. But this is all of the parts from here. There's all your parts lists, and then all of the steps, one by one, necessary to build your own Blamcon Viper. We will have this for every Props3D and Blamcon model. This is actually, now I've done all the template, it is actually reasonably fast for me to make because this is just using the 3D model and rendering it out. So tells you what the steps is, tells you what the parts are, and even at the back I have references. There's every single screw and where every single screw goes. So easy peasy. And if you want, you can download a PDF copy, which is in light mode and printable. And this will show you, oh, where's zoom on this? There we go. And there is a printable version of the manual. This also has full screen modes as well. Not on this, but on the colored one, as you saw, because it is formatted for a phone. So you can just swipe across in your phone as well, making it pretty easy to navigate. So there you go. Now, this is the store, and this is a work in progress. We are hosting the stores for Props3D and Blamcon within our server using a third-party integration for safety and third-party payment portal as well. We are not using something like Etsy or Shopify or something like that because the fees are quite high. And, you know, if we want to make this affordable for you and sustainable for us, we had to do it the painful way and build it ourselves and integrate ourselves, but it actually allows us to use a third-party shipping provider, third-party payment providers, which keeps the fees down. And to be honest, when I calculated the shipping using the third-party provider, it came out to like 30% less. It's pretty awesome. So I'll just click through one of these here to show you. Again, this is not going to be $99,999. We haven't decided on the price yet, which I'll get to in a second, with a little bit of a story, actually. And let's go to the Blamcon core and take a look at that. This will be $60 US. This includes preloading the Blamcon software. This components on the PCB here. This is actually everything you need for rumble and recoil. I've seen generally when people are building light guns, they have to create a spaghetti monster of tiny little components. We actually do these all in-house. We get the PCBs done up by PCBWay. And then I actually, not even in-house, I do these. I surface mount solder all of these components myself, as well as solder the core onto the PCB. So Really, all you have to do is through hole soldering, the easiest kind of soldering you can possibly do. You don't have to worry about little transistors or resistors or soldering to Raspberry Pis or anything like that. Stick the little wire through the little hole, then solder it onto the thing it goes to. Easy peasy. So we will have volume discounts if you want to build more than one Blamcon. And as I think we've stressed about 100 times, if you just use a straight up Raspberry Pi and don't have the Blamcon core, the only thing you will be compromising is being able to use a larger rumble motor and the recoil function. But yes, this is the price for the Blamcon core, including all of the electronics, a Raspberry Pi Pico. And again, we will have discounts if you buy more than one, and we will be running periodic sales as well. But we feel this is a very fair price considering the time, the effort, and the component price that goes into this. And of course, the Blamcon operating system now and forever is completely free, no DRM, anything. So you just drag and drop it onto the core, and you got yourself a light gun.
So now you've seen a little sneak peek into what we'll be offering in terms of enabling you to build things, selling parts kits, if you so desire. Remember, you can always source it. The models and code are free, always on Props3D. That is our mantra and will continue to be so. So what does a Blamcon launch look like? Well, first off, I know a lot of people are on the waiting. There's a massive number of people on the waiting list for the Vipers. They will be spun up slowly, surely, and steadily. Sustainability is a massive part of this and a massive part of what Mike brings to the equation with an actual shop. All of the Blamcons you have seen so far, except for the paint jobs, have been built by me, with the exception of that one. That's the first one anybody outside of me has built one. And if you've seen the dozens of light guns on the wall, those are all done by me. Also, I have to say as well, you know, a lot of people have asked about pre-ordering, about deposits, things like that. We have taken no pre-orders, no crowdfunding, none of that jazz. I mean, I've been burned on crowdfunding quite a bit. I've mentioned it before in the videos, and I just don't feel morally able to go there, as well as I don't think my little heart could handle taking a bunch of people's money and then saying you'll get it whenever. You know, I think we're very much a, when you give us money, you get a thing.
We'll send it. Yeah,
exactly. We will do somewhat of a lead time for these, a reasonable lead time, probably just a few weeks or so.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah.
Yeah. Mike is getting people spun up at his shop to take the tasks off my hands. Mm-hmm. If you want these things pre-made, they're glorious. I love them. I would die if I had to make 300 of these, release 11 more models, film the build videos. And again, another part of this not being crowdfunded is almost all of the infrastructure for this has come out of actually my pocket. Mike has now put in a significant amount as well.
I put in a chunk, yeah.
Yeah, with the
nothing compared to what you've done. Like this project in itself is phenomenal. Just not only just the resources mentally that you've put into this and the design and everything, but yeah, to do this completely without crowdfunding is amazing. So just makes it all better for everybody else too. So we will bring it to you.
$35,000. I'm just going to tell you. $35,000 I've put into this. And for that, I work a day. Yeah, I work a day job.
Yeah.
You know, I have to. I love my day job too, by the way. I have a great day job. I work with a lot of great people doing fun things. And I would love to do this later when it becomes sustainable. But to be honest, this has always sort of been a loss for me. And this is the first time we've even started this as an endeavor. I have a mortgage. I have kids. I have, a whole infrastructure. They're about old enough I can kick them out, but they're not at that age yet. So, I'm hoping that slowly this will, start to turn the equation around, putting out more content, more video, more awesome props. You wanted to talk a little more about your painting videos.
Yeah, well, I think that, a lot of people have reached out to me through direct messaging through our Discord. So if you're not on the Discord, get on the Discord, everybody. Lots of really good information there. I will be doing some videos. We'll be doing it through YouTube, I imagine, right?
Yeah.
And then, so obviously we're going to start out with, because we're working with 3D prints, how to prep your prints. That'll kind of be the first phase, just how to get them prepped. So to the point of getting them ready for paint. And then after that, then we can get into decaling, we can get into weathering, we can get into schemes, we can get into just things around paint interactions and what to expect when you use the wrong paints and what they're going to do. I got lots of experience with that. And as we all should, because if you're going to get good at any of this stuff, you have to do trial and error. So I would just want to share my trial and error so you guys don't have to waste time, energy, and money. And of course, I've had the great opportunity to work with a lot of really good people, and all their techniques I've learned as well. And plus, I do a lot of research. So more than willing to share all these different things that I use in my props for where I work, as well as what we do at Props3D and, of course, Blamcon. So another thing that Blamcon has added is a chrome package that we will talk about more in depth, but we will be actually offering a complete chroming situation where these guns can be chromed in a number of different colors, as well as accent pieces. So you'll see more and more of that, but we're going to get that ready. We have to get launched, and then we'll get into the chroming, but that is coming.
The hydro dips here, man. I
Yes,
personally like the
hydro
hydro
dipping.
dip more than the chrome. As somebody who does film a
Yeah.
lot, I don't have the love for you that you do for chrome.
Well, hey, like anybody that's been doing like paint and props and stuff, the hardest thing to do is what? Find
Chrome?
So,
I know.
I've spent
and
a
you are-
fortune. I've spent such a friggin' fortune. It's unbelievable. But
It will be very cool, but I look forward to a bunch of videos where all
Yeah.
I do is see reflections of my camera.
but we could do chrome with hydro dipping over top. But the hydro dipping is killer, especially the way that we accent it. Basically, we can accent to make sure that the print really pops, and then all the accent features. The beauty about a Viper is like we can do, our clips a certain way or buttstocks a
Ooh,
certain
do you
way.
want to grab a hydro dip?
I can grab a couple. So
Yeah,
I'll
well,
grab
sure, man.
gun cons as well. This is hydro dipped. I'm not sure. Camera, you're picking it up. So essentially, what we've done is using a very bright copper undercoat. It's got a metallic sheen to it. You can tell right there in the mag, a little reflective. But that just gives such a nice crisp look to it with the hydro dipping. And it's affordable, but it's super strong too. So this is actually more durable than Cerakote. So if anybody's heard of Cerakote, which is often used in real weaponry,
Well, so it's hydro dip, man.
Yeah, well,
That's where it kind of came from.
yeah,
right?
actually, a lot of hunting rifles and stuff are done in, the mossy oak and all that kind of thing. But anyway, this one's kind of fun. It's just got a bit of a gambler's type thing. It's got some skulls. And so I love this gun. I love this color scheme. Just everything about it's just super slick.
You grab this one as well. Your Joker.
Yeah, so then here we have GunCon 2.
Oh, careful of that in a sharpening stone. That thing is abrasive.
So there we have
GunCon 1.
basically. This is GunCon 1.
Yeah, 2's got the little joystick on the back.
Yeah. So anyway, that's a good way to make a pretty boring gun pretty exciting. So
Yep. And as we get launched too, we're also bringing in live streaming. I've been live streaming on Discord for the last month or so, just getting it down, testing it out, getting equipment. You can see the microphone. Actually, you can't see the microphone. You also can't see the computer I have. You know what? I'll take a little clip of it, overlay it onto this. So we'll be bringing live streaming. I'll be live streaming on Twitch, definitely live streaming with Mike as well. That way you can build along with us. So as we release new props, we'll have build nights. I've also done modeling for makers several times now. It's always been sponsored by Facebook, but I will do it independently as well. I guess from this point, just turn the course into sort of a Props3D thing rather than an online education thing. So I'll teach you how to model props. Actually a lot of stuff from here actually came from modeling for makers. This was a one class lesson as well. This is the knife from Aliens. Yeah. what else came from it? Actually, nothing else here. I think some stuff in the other room. Anywho's back on track. So, Blamcon Store, done. Props3D Store, not done yet because we're focusing on Blamcon because it is the first larger endeavor we're dealing with and we're focusing directly on it. Viper, done. Starting the next day or two, I will be filming the Viper video, the DIY one. We will have hundreds of Blamcon cores available, as well as initially dozens, later hundreds of kits. So you can buy a kit, print your own, and build it yourself. You can also buy the prints from us. We'll figure out an affordable price for everything, as well as we'll be selling completed Vipers, probably on a slower scale, and then building up to it as Mike can bring on more help. We'll have to become more of a company for that, I think, because if you want to see more videos, if you want to see more light guns, I'm certainly not going to be able to do that and do hundreds of Vipers myself. We will be slowly rolling out Vipers. We will be contacting people. Many of you have filled out our waiting list form. I have everybody in order in there, and I will be going down the list, giving everyone dibs. I'll be giving a reasonable amount of time for people to answer, and then just going down through the list as well. I'll be making cores publicly available. And and we'll also be sort of ramping up our Patreon. Actually, the only thing that's really helped offset some of the cost of this has been the amazing people who have trusted us and invested in us in Patreon. And we have
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And we have made them, and you, if you're one of them, a pretty, I hope, generous offer for you to reclaim some of that towards getting your first Blamcon or Props3D prop. But we'll be also adding a version of that to Patreon going forward as a perk. Right now, our perks have been pretty much limited to early access to models and a thank you, like we'll be doing at the end of this video. But we will be adding 25% of all of your gross donations. Patreon takes a percentage, but we'll eat that. Will be redeemable as a coupon once per year, minimum. That way we don't have to, these coupons are individually made, so we don't have to do it constantly. But anytime you want, if you are a Patreon, just ask me. I will convert 25% of the entirety that you have used to support us, gross amount, into a coupon that you can use towards Blamcon. It stacks with any other promotions we offer. And hopefully that's a little thank you for those who believe in us and who support us, because it really does make the world of difference. We are not a factory. We are not a giant company.
Nope.
We are makers.
Enthusiasts.
Yes. Well, you are,
Just like
you represent quite a bit more than me, and that's why it's awesome having you here. I'm the little guy. Well, yeah. So wrapping this up, we will have hundreds of cores available for anyone who wants to make Blamcon. Those will be available immediately. We are using PCBWay to do the raw PCBs, but we are doing all the SMD soldering, all of the soldering of the Pi Pico. Everything is done in-house, but we can do those very quickly. We will be offering kits, as many as we can, as fast as we can, to those who want that. The kits are complete. Yeah, man. Did I cover? Did I think I'm getting circular now?
I think we should maybe just talk quickly about code and Craig and that kind of thing. Or...
Oh, geez. Thank you. Yes, that's a huge one. Yeah. Okay. So,
and just the accuracy and like the difference between.
well, I don't want to talk about any differences between everything because that's for the community. But there is one giant point on the code actually, which is quite interesting. And the beta of Blamcon, which will be released, it'll be included in all the cores, and it'll be released as soon as Craig's kind of happy with it, which is sort of on and off. But an interesting thing happened, and this is why it's great that we got out there early and got community feedback. The thing is, we don't use lenses at all. Craig doesn't on his 32-inch monitor. I don't on my 50-inch monitor. You've never seen me use lenses in videos until very recently. Lenses have an interesting distortion. I didn't really see the need for them, but talking to the community, everybody wants a lens. Everybody wants to get way up close. These 180-degree lenses, they have a really massive distortion. And that sort of compromises some of the accuracy we advertise. And Craig thinks he can get around that. He can beat that. He can do a compensation for that as well as he does. Check out our previous video where we say, is the Blamcon firmware ready yet? And twist, tilt, in, out, left, right. All of those compensations Craig's put in the code, but he will do is working on a further compensation for this distortion of wide angle lenses. So I think that sort of pushed, as Craig put it, the firmware back into beta. So if you buy a core, you get the firmware included. But I don't know where we are. I'll let you know in a few days on the Discord, or I'll put out an article on the website or something. I have to reconnect with Craig and see where we're at. To be clear, though, the firmware is free. It is not DRM'd. You can copy it. It works on any Pi Pico, whether you have a core or not. So you can fully DIY a Blamcon. This isn't about gating it. This is about getting it where it should be. Again, watch the previous videos and see how good it is. But really, this is Craig's baby. And we just, as I ride along with Mike and paint, he rides along with me with 3D modeling. We all got our areas, right? Paul, he did all the PCBs. This is a cool thing. We've got some very specialized skills here, and everybody has their thing. But the release of the Blamcon firmware, that is up to Craig. Craig, if you're watching it, maybe add a comment. So anyway, that's about as rambly as I can get.
Yeah, no, fast and accurate, folks. That's what we're looking for, and can't wait to release completely. Let's get this going.
Fully. So I will be filming the video for the Blamcon Viper right away. I will be releasing cuts as fast as I can on Discord for the community to chew on. When happy with that, I will drop the Blamcon Viper on Thingiverse for everybody. So the Blamcon cores will be available at the same date, along with a limited number of kits. I will be going through the wish list, the wait list, thank you, and contacting people, as well as I'll be doing special offers for the Patreons for their amazing support. Nothing is gated to Patreon, but the early access models are there for them as well. So thank you so much to everyone for sticking with us through this project, and especially our Patreon supporters. And since we now have a monitor here, let me go grab a keyboard. Thank you so much to the Patreons at the VIP level: Andrew Gergen, Big Homie, CC, Chef Ray, Fernando Diaz, James Hargis, Chris Coolmod of chriscoolmod.com, Matthew Clabish, gotta go down here, Philip Daniel of Light Gun Lunatics, thank you so much for the shirt, Stephen Barsom, Thomas Cooper, and of course to all the Patreons and the crawl that follows. Thank you so much for your support.
Thank you very much.